Welcome back, everyone. I have a new encounter this evening. This one is out of Ohio. I love the encounters with the hunters, actually. Most of these guys are rough, rugged men. As you could hear, that was one right there, preparing for deer season. These guys want nothing more than to explain this away as something else, anything else, but what it actually is. But once you see it, it cannot be denied, my friends. It's no trick of the light, it's no illusion. It's just a Dogman, plain and simple. I don't need to preface this one. This fella takes care of all that in his email. Fantastic job writing this one, brother. Well done. Well done indeed. I can tell this is burned into your memory. Before I get to blabbing too much, as I usually do, everyone grab a drink. Lock your doors and windows. Hit the lights. And let's get started. The name's John, born and raised in Logan, Ohio. I spent my whole life in this area, actually. Grew up hunting and fishing with my dad in the Hocking Hills region. You know, I've always loved the outdoors. Felt like I knew these woods better than almost anyone. My family's been here for generations, so hunting is pretty much a rite of passage in my family. It was about 3 years ago, late October, right before Halloween. I was out in the Wayne National Forest, not far from the Lake Hope area. I was doing some late season bow hunting, hoping to bag a deer before the rut started. It was a quiet evening, the kind where you can hear every limb shake and every stick crack in the forest. There weren't many hunters out that day, so I figured it was a good chance to find a spot without being disturbed. I'd been out there since early morning, moving around, trying to find the best spot. By late afternoon, I found a good clearing near some thick underbrush, a place where I'd seen deer pass through before. I settled in, got real quiet, and waited. It was the stillness that got to me first. The forest went dead silent, and I mean not a single sound. No birds, no wind, nothing. It was like the whole place was in a movie scene, and it had been muted. At first I thought maybe there was a predator nearby, a coyote or even a bear. But this was different. I felt this presence, like something was watching me. The air felt pressurized, like static electricity everywhere. But when I looked around, I couldn't see anything out of place. Then, out of nowhere, a tiny breeze blew in a very foul smell, like a mixture of rotten meat and sulfur. It was faint, but it got stronger, and it was unlike anything I'd ever smelled before. That's when I knew something was definitely off. I started getting this overwhelming urge to leave. But I'm not one to spook easy, so I stayed put, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was just my nerves or the wind playing tricks. But then I heard something moving through the woods. It sounded like a damn T-Rex was running in there, and it was coming from the direction of the underbrush. The footsteps were deep, powerful, like something huge was intentionally making a lot of noise because it wanted me to know it was there. I slowly turned my head, trying to spot where it was coming from, but there was nothing until I saw movement at the edge of the clearing. This thing stepped out of the tree line, just enough for me to see it. At first I thought it was a bear, but it was way too big, way too tall, standing on two legs. It had these broad shoulders, long arms that hung down to its knees almost. It was covered from head to toe in thick hair. and it was a dark gray color. It almost matched that of a coyote, gray with blackish tips here and there. Its head is very easy to describe. It was gigantic. Its mouth looked way too big. It had long, pointy ears standing straight up off of its head, and its eyes were blood red and staring straight into my soul. When it looked at me, I knew at that moment I was now the one being stalked, and not hunted, but toyed with. What I was praying wouldn't happen next is exactly what happened. It slowly started moving toward me. The way it walked was enough to freeze your blood. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it had the little girl that crawled out of the old well. The way she moved, that's how this thing moved. It was very fast, but its movements were erratic and jerky. I couldn't move. I was frozen, staring at this creature as it moved closer. It didn't make a sound. It just stared at me with those eyes. I could see its breath, hear the crunch of the leaves under its feet. It was real, more real than anything I've ever experienced. My first thought was to grab my bow, but I knew that if I made any sudden moves, it would be on me in a heartbeat. So I stayed as still as possible, hoping it would lose interest and move on. But it didn't. It just kept coming, inching closer until it was maybe 20 yards away. I thought about running, but I knew I wouldn't make it far. So I did the only thing I could think of. I slowly started backing up, keeping my eyes on it the whole time. My heart was pounding, and I could barely breathe, but I kept moving, trying to put some distance between us. That's when it let out this loud, skull-splitting howl, like it was warning me not to run. It was almost like it was enjoying this. I don't know how, but I managed to keep backing up, and after what felt like an eternity, the thing just stopped. It tilted its head, almost like it was curious, showed me its massive teeth, as if to say, "Just kidding," then turned and walked back into the trees. I didn't wait to see where it went. As soon as it was out of sight, I bolted. I ran faster than I thought I was able to. I didn't stop until I got back to my truck, and even then, I felt like it was right behind me the whole way. When I got home, I tried to make sense of it, but the more I thought about it, the more unreal it seemed. I didn't tell anyone for a long time. Who would believe something like that is out there walking around? But the memory of it never left me. To this day, I won't go back to that part of the woods. And every time I'm out hunting, I can't shake the feeling that I'm going to see it again, like it's watching me everywhere I go. It's changed everything. I used to love being out in the woods, felt at peace there. But now there's always that fear in the back of my mind that something could be out there, something that's not supposed to be out there. I've talked to a few others around here, and some of them have had similar experiences, but nobody really likes to talk about it. It's like there's this unspoken rule. We all know something's out there, but we don't want to acknowledge it. I still hunt, but I'm a lot more cautious, and I never go out alone. You never really know what's out there until you see it for yourself, and once you do, it's something you'll never forget. Appreciate the ears and open minds. Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon. John. My friends, if that encounter doesn't make your butt bite your pants, I don't know what would. This one had me tensed up a few times, especially talking about the way it moved in that stupid movie. It was called The Ring, and I pictured a Dogman moving like that, and now I can't unsee it. Damn it, John, I could have lived without that thought in my head. Seriously though, I'm glad you made it out safe, man. These things are pretty weird. Why do they just want to mess with people and scare them half to death? It makes 0 sense. Anyway, thanks for submitting your encounter. I'm truly honored, my friend. I hope you can be comfortable in the woods again one day. As for the rest of you out there, yeah, you bunch of legends, what did you think about this one? It's pretty freaky, right? I hope all you are doing well, you and your families. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video wherever you can to get the word out to as many people as we possibly can. And on your way out, hit that like button so hard, it'll get a restraining order against your finger. That was bad. Until next time, y'all, watch over your loved ones, keep your head on a swivel, and as always, good night.